some shit.
Good afternoon, family. I'm Curtis Cheatham Jr., and welcome to This Week in Black America. And here's a rundown of this past week's highlights. 47th president continues his assault on the citizens of D.C. while black mayors across the country are speaking out. We'll get into that. Meanwhile, California Governor Gavin Newsom decides to fight fire with fire, and he's not just talking. So we'll see what's going on out in California. A major black-owned American brand was forced into receivership this week, so we'll discuss who and why. More trouble in New York City as member of Mayor Adams' staff got hemmed up. And what does this foretell for the mayor? Are there more problems on the horizon for him? We'll get into it. And the African Union is seeking a more truthfulness in our map displays. We're going to explain that, and we'll get into all of that, along with so much more coming up on This Week in Black America. As always, I got my brother Deshaun here with me. How are you this afternoon, brother?
I'm wonderful, and welcome to, it's always a pleasure to be here with you every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to those who are joining us, our co-host. You know, if you're new here, we do this every single Friday at 12. We catch up on what happened this week, and specifically how it affects the Black American public. So we have our unique dialogue concerning these issues and how they affect us. And we welcome you to stay by your keyboard. We're a very dialogue-rich show. We don't talk at you. We have some regular co-hosts that tap in. Hopefully, we'll see them popping in over the next couple minutes. And we hang out for about 90 minutes. If the conversation gets good, maybe we'll go to the 2 o'clock hour. But we catch up on a lot. And if you saw something this week that we didn't catch, feel free to throw it in the chat. We always bring your comments onto the show. We're live on YouTube on the Hello Black America page. We ask you to hit that like button if you're going to spend a couple minutes with us. And we're also live on the Brother Deshaun Facebook page. So always a pleasure. Looking forward to talking to you, my brother. And you know, where do we start? Q, what's up, man? Something going on. A lot going on in DC right now.
Yeah, DC, the block is hot in DC, as they say. You know, last week we reported on the fact that, you know, that the administration had taken over the DC police department. And now right after our show last week, though, now we also reported that, you know, DC had sued the administration. So after our show last week, we saw the administration back off a little bit, at least in word, about what they were going to be doing. Why don't you give us a little rundown on what's going on with this situation now, brother?
Sure. We have some information via the Associated Press. This article says that the Trump administration has agreed to let Washington, D.C.'s police chief remain in place for now. So for those of you who weren't aware, he had actually given the order for the federal government to go in and oversee the police department. Essentially, the federal government, he was proposing to be the chief of the DC police. Right. But again, as Curtis said, there was several lawsuits that they took up concerning this, and now there's been some form of compromise. So back to the article, it says, for now, police chief remain in place. The administration, Trump administration, has agreed to let the police chief remain in place for now, but issued a new order requiring DC police to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement, overriding local sanctuary policies. This comes after the city sued to block what Mayor Bowser called an unprecedented federal takeover of its police force. While the immediate takeover was paused, Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is the top cop in this land, made clear the administration will keep pressuring the city to support Trump's deportation agenda. So, Curtis,
you said there that just didn't sit right. One of the last things you said, she wanted to continue to put pressure on the city. I don't know. This kind of seems like the getting squeezed, putting the screws to you, as they say in the old mob movies or something, right?
My father calls it a squeeze play. You know, it's just,
not the baseball one either. It doesn't seem like
right. In between, I don't know, Curtis. Did you catch any of the videos this week, or did anyone who's watching or listening catch any? And if you're driving, don't type. But if you're not driving, let us know your thoughts in the chat. Did you catch any of the videos real time of what was happening in DC, from them picking up homeless people, pushing them out, or picking up? I saw one 2 days ago where they grabbed basically a bunch of homeless people's stuff and threw it into a garbage truck. Like, did you, did you?
I must confess that I didn't want to watch a lot of that. I kind of stayed away from those kind of things, but I did read a few articles and stuff that I hadn't even considered. So you end up unhoused. You're on the street. You may have everything you've ever owned. The article I was reading referred to people having urns with their loved ones' ashes or remains in them. And people, obviously, they may have all the clothing and things that they own, keepsakes, what little they may have been able to hold on through the years, pictures of loved ones, et cetera, et cetera. And then these folks, these Gestapo just come in and just throw this stuff away without even a care in the world. I don't think they come in and they gently move it to some other facility. And the question that begs to be asked is, what are they doing with the people? If they're moving them, listen, I can tell you without a doubt, no one, not a single one of those people made the decision willingly to be homeless, to not have a home to go to. So the fact that they're there, what would you do to, where are you going to put them? What are you going to do with them? If they had a home to go to, they'd be there. So if you're getting them off the street, where are you putting these people? That's the question I'd love to get an answer to. Are they just shoving them into some sort of shelter where their safety is questionable? I don't know. I don't want to ramble.
Are they pushing?
There's several questions that come up in my mind.
Right. Well, and to go deeper with that, let's stay on that. These people don't disappear. You're either pushing them to the outskirts. Right. I think if they were putting them in shelters, I think that would be a great thing. We would hear about it. I don't think that's happening. If anyone can confirm that, that'd be great. But I haven't seen a thing about creating shelters, or it looks like they're just, hey, basically walk the Oregon Trail, like get out of DC, go to the next town over, go to somewhere else in that DMV area. But if you're not fixing the problem, it's like if your whole house is dirty and you clean up one room. You clean up one room. Now you got roaches and rats through the whole house, every room, but you said, you know what? I'm tired of these things being in the bedroom. Y'all not gonna be in my bedroom. Okay. We'll just go everywhere else in the house. And it looks like if you don't fix the problem, then the problem is still there. The issue's still there. So I think, we'll probably see more homeless people going to Virginia, going to Baltimore, going to those areas just on the outskirts. And again, not good.
I thought you were going to go with that analogy. I thought you were going to go with cleaning up. I didn't expect the roaches and dirt all over the place. That was a twist that I hadn't expected. But I thought you were just talking about like somebody cleans up and just throws everything under the bed or in the closet, and and then they sweep up and sweep everything under the rug and out, so it's out of sight. It looks like it might be clean, but you look Don't move too much. Don't
Right.
don't stop. Don't look over there.
Yep. Keep that closet closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's the outskirts of DC now, and again, I mean, the country, I think, will look back. I look at it now, and I say, look, United States, you because you dragged your feet so long, you created this.
Right.
You didn't have a country that was running well fiscally, you socially, and so you gave way to a person who would say, well, I'm doing it my way.
Right.
Because you now we would have liked to have a leader that would come and say, I'm going to fix the homelessness problem. I'm going to fix the wealth inequality. But we don't have that. But it's the cracks that you left. The homeless you left, and had you dealt with it,
right,
it wouldn't be an issue. Because when I went down to DC last year, I went down to DC for the first time last year. And when I tell you it's parts of DC, boy, look, I'm from East Orange, New Jersey. That's right next to Newark. I hung out in Newark and East Orange majority of my childhood. It's parts of DC that make Newark look like a country club. Like, I have Resident Evil in the daytime. You know, when Dave Chappelle was telling the story and like, hey, man, I was in a limo and I'm riding through the neighborhood and yo, it's 2 a.m. and I saw a baby on the corner. You might think, until I went down there, I'm like, man, nah, he blowing this up. Yo, daytime, I'm walking through DC and Meraki was with me. And I'm like, bro, I can't believe it. 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, like
The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Zombies.
So because the mayors didn't deal with it, the governors didn't deal with it, the congressmen didn't deal with it, the presidents didn't deal with it. Now you gave way to a leader who says, all right, well, I'm going to deal with it. I'm just not going to do it your way. I want these people out the town, get them out the town. I don't care what happens to them. And so
that part, though, that's the part. Why aren't more people asking that question? What's happening with these people? Because, I mean, America is showing its true self. I really believe. And, you know, I'd hate to believe, I don't really believe that the majority of Americans feel like this, but your silence is complicit. You know, you're complicit in this because you're not saying anything, because you're not asking those really basic questions. I mean, that you should be able to ask of a politician. And this administration has shown itself to be media savvy, obviously. So if you were doing something like this, the clear political or public relations message would be, listen, we're getting the people off the street. And then you have the cameras show we're taking them to this shelter here, or we've made arrangements for them to do X, Y, Z, whatever the plan is. That would be transparency. That would be showing the American people that we're actually dealing with the problem, not sweeping everything under the bed or throwing it in the closet for it to just fall out at some other point, which I fear is what's happening, since this administration has not shown itself to be really transparent. We'll go with that word in its dealings. It says it, but we haven't always seen that happen. So any final thoughts on that one before we move on, or is there something deeper we want to get into there?
No, I think not something deeper, just to put a period on it of what you just said. The administration is building something, I think, for them and the people who support them.
Right.
And everyone else, it's not, this isn't for you. Right. It's like you build anything you build, you're targeting, who am I building this for? And when we consider that there are people benefiting, there are people anyone who comes into the studio audience I'm going to start asking if you do support the administration. And look, the success of the administration we're all invested in. So I would love to support the administration because it's running our country.
Right.
But if you support the means of which things are getting done, I need to ask you, are you black or white? I need to know what your position is, because what do you stand to gain? And white people stand to gain, even if there is a tyrannical government, authoritarian government, dictatorship in America in 18 months, 2.5 years, you stand to gain because of that.
Right.
You are in a better position business-wise, financially, socially, to walk freely because of that. So I wouldn't expect your perspective to be the same as someone who, if that happens, doesn't benefit from that, who has less opportunities because of that, less more social upheaval, like their whole social life can be torn apart because of that happening. So that's the question that I'll be asking as people come in. And if they, because every now and then we do get people who support, everything the administration is doing, but no, that's it. I think we're going to just continue to watch. We're going to continue to pray, and as we go into more of the stories that happen this week, you'll see that there's certainly valiant efforts being put up to just trying to what's the word, Curtis? Just hold the line a little bit. We kind of use that all the time, like just protect the democracy. I think that's a better term. There's valiant efforts being made to try to protect the democracy. That is definitely
that ship may have sailed though. Unfortunately, it may have. Did you say, and just kind of something you said there, but when you said you were going to ask the folks their race, it just brought to my mind. I don't know if you saw the thing circulating on social media this week. Amanda, what's her name? Amanda Seals, I believe her name is. Social media contributor, was on doing something where she did some sort of debate against 20 conservatives or something like that. So I saw some of the clips of that. I wasn't really into it, but I did watch some of the clips, and I was like, these are black folks. Now, reading the comments and everything, it was saying that some of them are not, maybe they came here from other countries. So they're black, so they don't really have the true lived experience of being a descendant of the enslaved here in America. Mm-hmm. And they had kind of really uninformed thoughts about the way race plays out here in America. But it was interesting because these were folks that look like you or I, and yet the things that were coming out of their mouth, I was like, "Woo! Pull that black card immediately." But
we're not all. I hear people saying, "Listen, we how are they saying it? Like we all came different ships, or yeah, like
now we're all in the same boat."
Yeah, maybe we just didn't. Again, the black is a social construct. We've talked about it here on Hello Black America. Absolutely. We talked about how there's tribalism from where we came from, where we were brought from, whether you are from the continent of Africa or whether you're from, an Israelite background, whether you are from an East African or it's tribes, it's families. It's so, when you get snatched up, y'all all look black to us, but yeah. If you went into Europe, it's no different than if you didn't have the Europeans broken down into states and you walked into Europe, you're like, I don't know, you're Scottish from Danish, from Swedish, from English. I don't know. Y'all all look white to me. So it's the same way. They have totally different cultures, totally different ways of living. And somewhere along the line, a couple people who black from weird tribes, they end up here. And that's why that whole, hey, come on, y'all, we all black. Let's work together. Let's do this together. That's going to always be, and it's going to continue to be, a recipe for disaster. You find the people who are like you, who are cut from the same cloth as you, and you build with those people.
Absolutely. Well, Yeah, we that one, all skin folk ain't kin folk. We've learned that.
Hallelujah.
But let's move on though. There's kind of I'm not sure where to put this story. It was a gentleman who apparently was on social media doing a Facebook live, and unfortunately ended up getting shot. And this is out in Chicago. Brother, do you want to fill us in a little bit on what's going on with this black father that was apparently shot while on social media? So let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah, sad story. This is via our friends at the Black Information Network. 40-year-old Chicago father, Kevin Watson, was shot and killed during a Facebook live stream while sitting in a parked car. The tragic incident happened on West Madison Street in the South Austin neighborhood just after Watson left the liquor store. Witnesses say a man followed him to his car, pulled a gun, and fired during a struggle. Watson, known by the name Tug, was pronounced dead at the hospital. He leaves behind a 7-year-old son. No arrests have been made currently.
No arrests have been made. Of course not. Of course.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, I mean, it's a sad situation. Chicago, I don't know. Can anybody confirm if the Chicago homicide rate has decreased? Because we know at some point in the last 24 months, I mean, it was everywhere how many homicides were taking place in Chicago. It was like you couldn't even believe it, like more than one a day or two. So I don't know if that was under Lightfoot. That was under Mayor Lightfoot. But I don't know if the current Chicago mayor has made any strides, any progress. But to get on Facebook Live, and Curtis, there's an interesting Bible verse about two witnesses that are going to come in the days, and they're going to preach, and everyone's going to see their dead bodies laying in the street for 3.5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about the fact that prophecy was written in the book of Revelation 2,000 years ago, John wrote that prophecy, that two witnesses, one will be over in the land of Israel, one will be in the land known as spiritual Sodom in Egypt, which is here in America. So it said their dead bodies are going to lay in the street for 3.5 days, and a lot of people are going to rejoice. But you think about that, the desensitization. We've been so desensitized concerning seeing killing. Right. And we, it's unfortunately become a norm. And that's the scary part. What do you think happens to a society when homicide, when the extermination of a people right in front of them in Gaza becomes a normal thing?
It's funny you should bring that up like that, because just yesterday, I've been having family in town this week. So we're sitting around and we're talking, and I don't know, it might have been my sister or somebody mentioned that there was a mass shooting. And, I get the alerts on my phone. So I had seen it flash across my phone, but I didn't even look at it because, and we had the discussion. I was like, it's sad that these mass shootings have been they're so prevalent now. You hear about them almost every day. And if you don't hear about it, it's probably because it's in another part of the country. But I pretty much guarantee you there's a mass shooting in this country almost every day of the week. Mm. And we've become so desensitized to it. I didn't even look at the story. Even when I saw it flash across my screen, mass shooting, and no, I think it said something about active shooter. I was like, yeah, okay. Let's keep going, whatever we were talking about.
Absolutely.
And then, as it turned out, there was, it was supposedly at the University of Villanova, which is not too far from where I live. And as they came on, they said it ended up being a hoax. So that was even more of a mind-blowing thing. It's like, what, now we can make up hoaxes about this sort of thing? I don't know. It's sad that where we are in society that this doesn't even really move the needle when multiple people get shot, and we don't even. It doesn't even move the needle at all. Like, to your point, the loss of life that we see happen, it just doesn't seem to matter to people. It doesn't seem to matter. It's like they're stuck in the video games.
And the only,
because it's like they now I'm just the video game analogy is like when you see, you're killing a bunch of people in these games and then they hop back up and it's a reset. There's no reset for real life. These people are dead and gone. Their families are mourning and have to bury their loved ones. They don't. Yep. This is permanent. They don't get back up and play, because they got another game life. This is real life.
Absolutely. Get Black with me in the building.
I will
Welcome.
say something about. Yes. How you doing? Get Black with me. Always good to see you.
Always.
The question I have, and the thing maybe I would caution about this is this. I wonder how much him being on Facebook Live played into his demise. Because so often you see people with their heads in their phones walking around, even if they're crossing the street, they don't even look to see if a car is coming. They just expect you to stop because they're on their phone. So I don't know, maybe a lesson from this is just to be aware of your surroundings, especially young ladies. I oftentimes see people, young women with their heads just like completely immersed in the phone without being aware of their surroundings. Yeah, I think that's important that you point that out. This is the age of technology, but don't get so caught up in technology that you lose track of what's happening in IRL.
Listen, we was raised street smart. Like, you say it all the time, head on a swivel. And, unfortunately, that's what we have to be. You're right. Get Black with me. Society is sick. It's a cultural thing. It's become American culture. And I think as we wrap on this one, again, we're talking about the 40-year-old Chicago father, Kevin Watson, who was on Facebook Live streaming when he was shot and killed on the Facebook Live. So we're just discussing at what stage do we acknowledge we've just become too desensitized where that does not even move us. These are things that if our grandparents and great grandparents saw these things, they would be like praying for the country, like God is coming back. But again, normal. It's normal. So I think, again, that's American society. That's consumerism. You go to when I see other people talk about different societies, we have a grandiose vision of ourselves here in America.
Absolutely.
We think that we are the world. It's in our DNA here built in, like, hey, I'm an American. When I come into other nations, I'm an American. And there's a reason why they look down on Americans. For the most part, they like, y'all rich, y'all busy. To them, we're rich. You go to some of these countries, you go to, Americans got money, but they don't. I don't think, Curtis, they envy our lifestyle. And I think what we've seen lately with the world becoming smaller, with, these trade deals that are affecting other nations and America really swinging its weight, we're seeing other nations tell us that y'all are not all that. Like, all right, it's kind of like the woman who she thought she was good looking the whole time. You never told her, you're really not that good looking. Like, oh, you're good looking, but your breath really stinks. I never told you that. I never had to say that to you. I never had to say it. But now, you know what? You're flexing a little too much. I just want to let you know, go brush your teeth. And, so that's where we're at right now. People telling America, your teeth your breath been stinking the whole time. And so I think it's a societal issue. And I think, when I hear people talk about how they've moved out of America, whether it's to the Caribbean, whether it's to Africa, whether it's to Thailand, whether it's to any of these locations where a lot of these people are going to, they talk about how the culture that they were a part of was killing them. was killing their health, and so that's why I don't want to join the conversation of America being the world. The society where we can watch murder on film is, I think, maybe not exclusively, but definitely an American culture thing where we can watch people being killed and we just like, all right, yep, that don't matter. Next thing.
Yeah. You know what? Sadly, as I'm sitting here each week going through the stories and trying to develop a structure for the show, it has almost become a situation where everything I go through is just further and further evidence of why we shouldn't be here. And maybe it's just a shift in my mindset. And, if those of you who've been with us, what we've been talking about as far as the rep2025.org, the jointhecall.org, they tell you all about, some of the background. We don't need to get into all of that, but we encourage you. If the reality that they don't want us here is starting to set in for you, there are options. And that speaks to what you were just saying, is so long we have positioned America as the be all and end all of the world. And yet, to your point, we're starting to see the world looks at us maybe a little side eye now. That we used to be that city on a hill type thing where, it was great because of the ideals of America. I don't think that I went to Canada during Trump's first administration, and we went on one of those little carriage rides through the city, and it was in Montreal. And the person that was riding us around, giving us a tour, was just basically clowning us. It was very like, what are y'all doing? Y'all elected this guy? Now, we didn't elected him not once, but twice. So I can't even imagine what the rest of the world is saying now. But to your point, a little bit of the luster is off of what America was. And I don't know that the people in charge even realize it. They're so busy trying to tell us how great America is and how we're trying to get back to a great America. They're not realizing that the rest of the world doesn't really think America's so great right now. And frankly, the evidence is pretty extensive to prove that out.
Well, that's why we got new friends. It's the old friends that we don't care. We don't care about our old friends. Canada, Mexico, Europe. Like, we don't care about y'all no more. We down with Syria. we down with the Saudis now.
Listen, like $400 million plane, we ain't about that life.
Right. Listen, and if you really look at it, hey, we'd rather go in and be cool with Africa. We're gonna get some African leaders on our side. Like we all of your old Western, Roman Empire allegiances that, we thought we were like this. Come on, we've been like this since World War II. Come on. Nah, that's over. That's over. It's business now, and we're going to get new friends. So, when I fly into Europe, y'all not giving me planes. Y'all not giving me gold bars. Y'all not asking me, hey, listen, we've been trying to meet with y'all for decades. They never wanted to meet with us. They had us on a terrorist list. Well, listen, I want to meet with you. Listen, just, how much are we transferring and how soon will the transfer be done? 400 million? Okay, we'll be there. Listen, you're our friends now. So this is look up the Abraham Accords. Just Google the Abraham Accords. This is what we're seeing. So to your point, I think it's true that there's a group of people who don't see America as what they used to see it as. Right. But then there's this other group who were pretty isolated from doing business with America or having close ties with America, and they love everything that the Trump administration is doing because you're talking to us, and these old guys never used to talk to us. They never used to pull up to us, and so I think he's running with them. And Who cares about the old friends? Anita in the building. Good to see you. Hello, gentlemen in the chat. Just stopping by to say hi. I'll be on vacation till after the holidays. Wonderful. Y'all continue to inform. Be safe, educate, and remember, we are in demon season.
Thank you, Anita, for bringing that up, because that reality just grounds me. That we are in demon season. And I'm not laughing because we're in demon season. I'm laughing to keep from crying because we're in demon season. And we know what that's all about. To answer your earlier question, Chicago's murder rate is indeed down. I looked into it, and it's one of the lowest that they've had in years. So clearly,
wonderful.
They've made some strides in that regard.
Wonderful. Shout out to the new mayor of Chicago, who's decreasing the murder rate. Get Black With Me said, I don't think anyone considers the U.S. a friend. They've been totally exposed.
Yeah. How can you now?
If I think it's a business, it's just a business relationship.
Right.
We're not friends. And I think, but that Abraham Accords, it looks to me like there's more plans for the Eastern world than the Western world. So if you look at what's happening with the Abraham Accords, you'll see that they are heavily they want peace in that region, and now they're getting land in that region. Gaza is theirs. President Trump said it last week. So Gaza is ours. So when you look at, okay, I already got a territory. I got a whole country, that West Bank area. I'm going to continue to take it. And I got Israel over here, the state of Israel, that is on my side, that I'm pretty much their leader. And I'm going in and I'm clearing the deck, making sure that everything is going to be peaceful over here. We're going to build an alliance. That's what's happening over there. So, and that's the Holy Land. So I think the Western world just falls. I think it's just the fall of the West, Curtis. Like that's just. I think the West has run the world for it's coming to an end. Like the power of the West is coming to an end. That's just what it looks like to me. Anything you want to end with on that?
No, I think that's a perfect end to that. I don't even want to start talking about it because it'll just bring up something else. But I want to move into the next story because this one is one that you actually sent to me earlier in the week, or maybe at the end of last week, but it comes up to us out of Chicago. And as I alluded to earlier, everything that when I go through these stories, everything seems to be evidence for why we don't want to stay here, why we shouldn't want to stay here, or at least gives us ample reasons to support. If you're thinking about leaving, we've got quite a bit of evidence for why you might want to consider that. And this is one of those situations where, you got somebody, an older gentleman, a black man, served his country, and you can't even accept that. Why don't you get us into this story out of Seattle?
This is one of the saddest, and thank God thank God that this man. But let me just tell you, this is again via our friends at the Black Information Network. 68-year-old Harold Powell, a disabled black Navy veteran, was shot in the chest by a white man in Seattle after being accused of stolen valor. So just to know, that's a term when you basically say you're military or you're wearing something military, but you're not military. That's stolen valor. I think it's a federal crime, if I'm not mistaken. Powell was performing music in his wheelchair outside a Starbucks when Gregory William Tim, 32, confronted him, ripped off his military patch, and demanded ID. Powell pulled an airsoft gun in self-defense. Okay? Self-defense from a man in a wheelchair. All right. But Tim responded with a real... okay, I'm sorry. So Powell, the veteran... pulled an airsoft gun in self-defense, but Tim responded with a real handgun. Prosecutors say Tim provoked the violence and cannot claim self-defense. Now, Powell survived the shooting, and when and his family is calling it a hate crime. If you see the video, and I just want you to be aware, be very careful watching this video. I mean, if there's a trigger warning, when I watched it, I could only watch it once, and then I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
He literally tried to execute this guy.
Right.
He tried to execute this man in a wheelchair. And quite honestly, if you watched it, you said there's no way he's living.
Right.
He's shooting him point blank range almost. Like, I mean, what were they, Curtis? About maybe 10 feet apart?
Less than 10 feet, I think.
Less than 10 feet. And he shoots him just bang, 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 bang. Like, I'm like, there's no way this man lived. So let me just turn off this video. So when I heard he lived, I said, man, oh boy, you know, can you, the grace of God, but the strength of him, 68. What, I mean, geez, I don't have too many opinions on this. We can kind of get you, but Curtis, what were your thoughts? What was something that kind of,
we can't have nothing. We can't serve the country and y'all leave us alone. We can't have nothing. We can't build communities. Y'all burn them down. You can't, if you serve the country, you question it. Like, we haven't been serving this country since its inception. Are you kidding me? And then the thing that stands out to me here is this man has been, at least at this point, only been charged with first-degree assault. He shot that man point blank.
That's the charge?
And from the reports we've seen, he's only been charged with first-degree assault so far. Not attempted murder, not menacing, not any number of things that, police can make up charges. Now, I know this. They can come up with some charges. If nothing else, they can come up with charges for you. And for them to come up with first-degree assault, and that's it, I think that's
it's attempted murder.
Absolutely. All day, every day.
The man is in a wheelchair. Okay, and then again, you started the if you see on the video, you can, if you go up to a guy who is military or not, it's not your job. Right. Gregory William Tim. It's not your job to enforce the law in this country.
You know what? So many
it's a George Zimmerman vibe.
Yep. It's the Karen phenomenon. It's the thing that killed Ahmaud Arbery, rather.
Yeah. That's the vibe.
Why do y'all feel like y'all have to be the police of everybody? Why, you can get on social media any day and see a bunch of stuff where people are just coming up to people like, why are you here? What are you doing? Right. Why are you, right. I just saw one this morning of a police officer harassing a dude in a park, sitting there literally in a park under the shade on a hot day. The where he was sitting was a very shaded area. He's eating a bag of chips, and you could tell a white officer came up to him and was like, why are you in the park? I think that maybe nobody else is in the park because you're in the park. And he said, there's somebody like you, alluding to his color. And then he said, this escalated to the point where he's like, I'm not going to let you murder somebody literally, he doesn't know anything about that. Yeah, I'm not going to let you murder somebody. And then he attempts to arrest them, puts them in cuffs. And then two other black men run towards him, one of them with an obvious police garb on. Like, what are you doing? And they uncuff him. And the white cop is like, what are you doing? I don't know you guys. And they're clearly cops. Then the one that he had been harassing pulls out his badge from around his neck. And he's like, well, maybe if you had done your job properly. Now he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Of course you didn't know because you didn't take the time to find out. And I just get so frustrated with with that. Now, somebody tell me that was a skit. Is that true? I don't know. But I'm sure it happened.
Curtis, if it was, it sounded believable. So I can't, even if that was a skit, there are so many times where the Karen walks over, or the cop walks over, or the white man walks over. Hey, you live here? Wait, where do you live? Hey, which house is yours? Like, hey, we can't even live in this neighborhood. So I think it's just evident again that if we can't build our own neighborhoods because we know that they've destroyed them, Again, if you're watching us on the Hello Black America YouTube channel, if you're going to hang out with us for a couple minutes, we'll be here till about maybe the 1:30 hour. If it gets a little longer, we go to 2, but Eastern time. Hit the like button. But on this particular channel, we did a show last year called 100 Years of Destroying Black Cities from Tulsa to today. And you'll see that what they told you about us, it was a lie. They told you about Tulsa. You may have heard of Rosewood, but there have been dozens and dozens and dozens of Black cities built, established, self-sustaining, that have been systemically and government sanctioned destroyed. And so if we can't build because you're going to destroy it, and then we can't coexist, what is our options? What are our options? Our only option at that point is to leave, because if we try to assimilate and just say, all right, y'all do y'all thing, y'all are going to continue to do this to us. Y'all are going to continue to terrorize us. The batteries are in these guys' backs. We can't be in towns. We can't be in parks. We can't buy houses in good neighborhoods that are mixed. We can't do this.
Right. And
so, again, it leaves us in between a rock and a hard place. But again, our solution is we're building our own economy. And so you can go to jointhecall.org. We will build our own economy. We will exist as a nation without a land for now. And as you follow suit of what the Jewish people did. I'm going to continue to lay that home. As we gather ourselves together, we create an economy. We don't, when the Jewish people got their land, they already had an economy. Right. So that's what we are doing. And it's beautiful because we've already spent the last 6 months pulling out of this economy, watching our dollars more. I'm watching how much I'm spending here. Okay, I'm not going there. I'm more conscious about where I'm putting my money now. So now we're going to start our own economy, fund our own businesses, fund people who are brilliant like Julian West, who's building a multi-trillion-dollar product to counteract not just the gasoline business, the diesel business, but the plastic waste in the country and in the world. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry that he's created in refining plastic waste into fuel. And Dr. Hadia Green, who's curing cancer, and Moses West, who's built a machine that turns air into water. These people will not be invested in by the traditional funders in this nation or even in the world, but we're going to invest in them. We're going to own these companies with them. We're going to partner with them. And as we build these things, that's the only way. And then we can go before nations and we can talk. But there's no other options for us. There's no other options. You're going to die. You're going to be, they're going to kill you here. So that's it.
Well, we've seen plenty of evidence of that. But an editorial note, our crack team, Meraki Media in the background, says that the one I guess the skit that I was describing was, they're saying was a skit. It looked awful realistic to me, but they're saying that they're like, these creators are putting out these fake channels where they're putting out these sort of fake plots and using Black people as the basis of it. So, I'm not the most, adept at what's going on with technology these days. But, I did see Tamir Rice get shot within 10 seconds of a police man pulling up and shooting him. So I know that wasn't no skit. And we do see this kind of thing happening all over.
All the time.
All the time. So we have plenty of evidence, even if they're trying to make up some evidence that isn't necessarily.
This is art. What is it? Art following.
Imitating real life.
Exactly. Art is imitating real life in this case. So go ahead. All right. What we got next, Curtis?
You remember the sad story of why do we keep starting with the sad story? This one is interesting though. You remember up in Buffalo a couple years back, I think it was 2-3 years ago, there was a mass shooting in Buffalo where a guy traveled from miles away, came to a Black part of town in Buffalo, into a supermarket known to have Black folks frequent it, and just shot a bunch of people. So he this week.
You can't make this up, y'all.
Go ahead and tell him about it, because I don't know if I can do it with a straight face, frankly.
You can't make this up. This is out of everything we're going to talk about. This is crazy, funny, ridiculous, insulting, all in once.
All of the above.
All in once. All right, so this is again via the Black Information Network. Payton Gendron, the white supremacist who killed 10 black people in 2022 in a Buffalo massacre, is now asking for his federal charges to be dismissed. That's the insulting part. But hold on. Claiming the grand jury that indicted him was too white. I'm going to say that again. That's not a typo. Was too white. His lawyers say black and Latino jurors were underrepresented, violating his constitutional rights. Now, prosecutors say the argument fails legally and factually. But here's the part I gotta ask you, Curtis, and our co-host in the audience. Is this lawyer a family member or something? Because, first of all, bro, you are guilty hands down. You got a life sentence, and the actual, he could face the death penalty when he goes up for the federal trial. You're done, bro. But when you call me and say, "Hey, listen, let's appeal, let's go," all right, on what basis?
Well, there wasn't enough black folks on the jury, bro.
You realize everyone you killed, Payton.
You killed a bunch of black people. You want to have more black? What are they going to do? They're going to hang you higher than the jury of your peers did? I mean, are they going to? I don't even get how you can even make your mouth say something like this. But, I mean, I guess it's a ploy, and you want to throw something against the wall and see if it sticks. Listen.
But who's paying the lawyer, Curtis? Welcome, cyber lady. Good to see you. She said, "Now I know I'm in upside down land." Yeah, this is the land of make believe. Who's the lawyer that decides? Because you can't be a reputable lawyer if he can call you and say that. You got to be somebody who, man, man, I'm still rallying for you. I love you. This is your lover or something. That's like, I'm gonna get you out of there. What can we come up with? How about, because I can't see any lawyer in the country making this claim and actually to the point where we're talking about it now. How does that happen?
If you imagine a lawyer standing in the courtroom, I love courtroom dramas and that sort of thing. So imagine this gentleman standing in the court before the judge making this argument. And I just wonder if you ever, you see where somebody's trying to say something that's ridiculous and everybody around them is just like covering their face to keep from laughing because it's just so ridiculous. I can imagine the judge and maybe the bailiff and maybe the court stenographer like while the lawyer is trying to make his argument that this scoundrel who killed these people didn't have enough black faces or Hispanic faces on the jury. Listen, this is what
you want. What's next? Right, I want a black judge. I want a black judge. You'd have definitely got the death penalty, bro. It wouldn't even be for talks.
They might have shot him like right there. They might not
right
even
there.
They might just. But we're gonna follow through on this penalty right now, right here. But
right.
I don't know. Is it even possible that you could stand up and make this argument without, with a straight face?
I couldn't believe it when I was reading. I don't know how this made it to public. I don't know how it made it. Again, the lawyer has to be a family member. This cannot be a person. Is he paying this person? I can't see if we can.
You just have to be. White folks think they can get listen, anything. They're gonna try. Listen, there was a guy You remember a few years ago, the guy that I think a young man that killed a bunch of people, got drunk, killed people with his car. I think it was 4 people. And then he got put on probation, little white guy. And then he tried to flee the country. And his lawyer came back and argued that he suffered from affluenza. Affluenza. They made that term up, but he was too affluent. And because of his affluence as a young man, his parents never instilled in him the necessary gauge of right and wrong. So he never knew what right and wrong was because he was spoiled all his life, and it worked. It worked. That man got off on probation or something for killing 4 people, I believe it was. So, you know, sometimes when you have the complexion for the protection, well, maybe not sometimes, that's all the time. In this country, you have to have the complexion to get protection. And
the complexion for the protection is a bar. You don't put on your minister hat. That's a bar right there.
Listen,
yes,
we are in demon season, so we all need to become ministers and start proclaiming the word. Because listen, all around
out. And
all around you are demons.
Get Black with me said he looking for an Uncle Ruckus. Y'all don't know, that's the dude from the Boondocks.
Boondocks. Shout out to the Boondocks. They need to bring the Boondocks back.
Absolutely. Every now and then I'll pull it up on YouTube. I
got the CD set. If they ever take it off the TV, like they try to do a bunch of stuff, I got the CD collection, the DVD.
Yeah. Shout out to the great Regina King.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. What we got? What's next?
All right. So there was this is in our neck of the woods, or a little close to where we are, out in Brooklyn. And this is, again, highlights when you try and do all the right stuff, you know, and they still going to try to find a way to get your stuff if they can. We've done a show on the Hello Black America, under the Hello Black America umbrella when you referenced earlier. Every time we build these towns, they find a way to burn them down. They find a way to destroy them. Now, this is a more I don't know how you put it. It's a more individualized, obviously, individualized example. Brother, the young man in Brooklyn who's losing his house. You want to take us through that? Set that up for the audience this afternoon.
And if you don't know, Brooklyn has been heavily gentrified in the last probably 10 years, maybe 15 years. So it's from MSN via the Black Information Network. So shout out to the Black Information Network, even tapping in with the corporate media to keep them up to speed on what's happening. A 66-year-old Brooklyn man is fighting to reclaim his home after losing it over a $5,000 water bill he says he never knew existed. Fillmore Brown, who paid off his mortgage in 2019, was shocked when strangers showed up claiming legal ownership. The bill had been sold to a private lien trust, and Brown said he never received notice before the home was auctioned. His attorneys blame the city's broken billing systems and say the case reflects a larger crisis. Now, here's the scary part, or scarier. Over 6,800 properties, mostly in communities of color, have been placed in lien trust. So when you consider the value of a paid-off Brooklyn home, depending on where it's at, that's not a $200,000, $300,000 home. So that could be anywhere from a $500,000 home to upwards of $1 million, and you just took it from this man. And again, let's just do some. If I had a third grader listening, they'd understand this. If a person can pay off an entire home, do you think they can pay off a $5,000 water bill if they knew about it?
He paid off his mortgage in less than 10 years or something. I think if I had the timing right, yet he couldn't pay a $5,000 water bill and
no notice,
right?
Because again, hint, hint, clue, clue. Just let's use our context clues. Typically, a person who could pay off their mortgage, they are on top of what bills they're having. They're not reading their mail. They're not coming home and seeing notices on their door and ignoring them. So that means we are confiscating property. We are like you said, Curtis, if we're in a society where they can just take your property. Like, and again, I don't see a lot of white people complaining about eminent domain or y'all trying to take my house is paid off, y'all trying to take it for a tax bill or a water bill. These stories they continue to be us.
How come they never do the eminent domain for the trailer parks? How come they never get taken by eminent domain? And let's do some math here. You got nearly $1 million home, and then a $5,000 lien against. So you could take somebody's nearly $1 million home for $5,000. Does that even seem right to you? Does the math even seem right? And the fact of the matter is, like you said, is like, and I read this article is not just Black Information. This is from Newsweek, ABC 7 in New York, News 12. So this has been reported in several different venues throughout this area. And the fact is that he was never notified. And he said, listen, if I'd have known, basically what you just said, had I known, I'd have just paid the $5,000. And he said it kind of matter-of-factly, like $5,000 ain't much. I own a brownstone in Brooklyn. I got the money. And yeah, this is just another okie doke. It's another way to try and steal from us. Largely the way things were stolen from the natives who were here when the folks got here. They stole the labor when they stole us and our bodies from across the ocean and brought them here for free labor for hundreds of years. We are a country of thieves.
100%.
Well,
what
steal stuff.
Country was founded on.
Absolutely.
And this is 3 generations, 4 generations, 5 generations. We have never seen. We never extinguished the thieves. They've been here. They've had kids. The reports that I'm reading, Curtis, say that this home was worth between $600,000 and $800,000.
Wow!
So this is a man's retirement that he says he worked 2 decades to pay off his home, pays off the house, and then you take the house for $5,000. And again, we're gonna follow the story. It's just criminal. But if we live in a country that just debos their citizens, what are we gonna do? Debo didn't care about that's my grandmother chain. It's my chain. You get what I'm saying? Like this is the country we're in is Debo. And you can cry for mercy. May work sometimes, less than 1% of the time. But in these days, I really want to follow this man again. He's right across the water. We're here in New Jersey, so he's right here. And see what the outcome ends up being for this man, Fillmore Brown. And nobody in the city can go to him. Nobody in the city. There was no person with a conscience that worked in the city that would actually go and tell him that this was about to happen. See, come on.
The point that we didn't actually get into was could have been dangerous because these people, I think, came into his house like at night. The people that I
guarantee them they was the black hats.
Yeah, they came into their house in the middle of the night. Now, I wonder what would have happened had that man been armed and exercised his Second Amendment right to protect his property. And, and then, these people trying to walk in his house because you don't know if you've never been notified, somebody just walking in the house and you don't know, that could be a problem. So,
and his attorney,
anyway.
Alicia Nicholson, said that she believes his claims, while attorney Yolande Nicholson pointed out he just paid a water bill this year in the thousands of dollars. So it's just heart-wrenching. But once his old bill was put into the trust, it didn't show up on his bills, as Nicholson added. There needs to be some type of notification. Man, get out of here. All right, let's get rid of it. Listen, we'll follow it. Our prayers are with you, with your fight. I would be raising all hell, but yeah, shout out to Fillmore Brown. Keep him in prayer, because this is just an example of something that is not fair. But again, America does not care. This is where, when we say This Week in Black America, that's a double entendre, just so y'all know. Just so y'all know, it ain't just for black people. That black stain, you got a stain on that flag. If we could have a logo, it would be a black and white American flag with blood on it. You got to
submit this
dirty daggone. All right.
I submit this to the court as evidence, piece number evidence of 4,558 as the reasons why they don't want us here, apparently, or as evidence that they don't want us here. And if they don't, listen, I don't want to be anywhere where I'm not wanted. And I think this country is proving over and over again that they don't want us. They don't want us.
A lot of places I'd rather hang out than America. A lot of places. The Grand Canyon and all of that stuff. Nah. It's good food. It's nice canyons. Other places. It's good restaurants. What do we really bring? We're a country of immigrants, so we can just go to where the immigrants came from and get what we got here. It's like not like we came here and got all types of native stuff from here. Wow, what a land! What a land! No, Mexicans brought stuff here. We like it. Italians, we like it. Africans, we like it. Jamaicans, we like it. You can just go right to those places. America makes nothing. It just packages everything.
Bunch of rednecks sitting in a Mexican restaurant.
Right.
Like, why? You don't even like Mexicans. Why are you here?
Listen,
anyway.
If Cracker Barrel is your thing, I guarantee you can get that in a lot of other places. So the only thing going back to Get Black With Me's comment, the only thing that America actually exports is misery. I love that. They export
the only
misery.
Thing America exports is black culture. America exports black culture all over the world.
Big fact.
That's the only thing we got going for us, and they don't want us here. But anyway. Get Black with me. Black people were forced to migrate.
Okay, so let's talk about these election policies that President Trump is if you did not hear, a man who won the election is taking every effort to change how elections are run. This is usually what the loser does, or the cheater.
Right.
There's no way you're gonna attack the system. Because it's explain to me how you play a game, Curtis. You competing, you beat everybody, and then you look back and say, "Man, we gotta change this system, man. Y'all cheating." Wait, you just won. Unless you cheated to win. And if you cheated to win, then you turn around and say, man, we're going to change this whole system. I don't like having to work that hard to win. So via the Associated Press, President Trump is vowing sweeping changes to how U.S. elections are run, including eliminating mail-in voting and voting machines.
Right.
So I guess we're going back to, good to see you, King Chibo, checking in. But constitutional experts say he doesn't have that power. In a new social media post,
much of the stuff he's doing, right? He's doing
hasn't stopped him. What we always say, Curtis, who gonna check me?
Who gonna check
Who
him?
gonna check me, boo? In a new social media post, Trump promised an executive order to bring honesty, quote unquote, to the 2026 midterms.
You cannot spell it, I guarantee you.
Midterms, despite the fact that these same systems helped him win in 2024.
Exactly. Ding, 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 ding.
His claims are once again rooted in false election conspiracies. So he Curtis, just how do you dissect this? You want to change a system that just helped you win?
There you go. And that's the point, is that, and you know, we don't have I don't even know if I want to get into it, frankly. It's just like,
get it off, bro.
This guy is clearly, he won, and to your point, just think about it logically. He won, but he wants to change the mechanism. So did he really win? Did he somehow? This is what this guy does, is, you know, he claims stuff that isn't true. He just keeps saying things over and over again until you believe him. You know, a lie said over enough times will become believable if nobody checks it. And this guy seems to just, he is the epitome of that. You know, that's a nasty question. Instead of, you know, it's deflection. Just, you know, misinformation. Keep throwing it out there enough times, somebody believes it. If you keep saying a lie enough times, somebody will believe it. So clearly, no mail-in ballots. Does that mean that the people who are serving in the military across the world can't use a mail-in ballot anymore to mail in their absentee ballot? He says no voting machine. So all this technology that we have, he still wants us to go in and write on a piece of paper who we're voting for and count those by hand. I mean, what's the point? If we have this technology available to us, why is he persistent and saying we need to go back to a time when we had no voting machines, where we were writing handwriting ballots? We can't do mail-in. You know, when you get better, when you have better tools, you should be able to do better things and you know, improve the process a little bit. And he's trying to take us back to the election stone ages. And maybe, I don't know. Listen,
Get Black
folks,
with me says
if you believe that there's going to be another free election in this country, you may be absolutely wrong. You may be.
Well, I got a bridge. I got a bridge. I got a cheap bridge for sale.
It's in Arizona. It's in Arizona. Yeah. It covers a big body of water in Arizona.
It's yours. If Get Black with me said he sees losing on the horizon. And when you consider, as you said, he hasn't thought that far, as you're talking about, like, you know, what comes next. But if you consider, Curtis, he talked about this for a long, again, the Freudian slips is what it's called. You know, when you are, it's like when he said, you know, come on, my Christians, I love you, I'm a Christian, you know, and if you listen to that clip, it sounds like he said, I'm not Christian. It sounds like he said, right. But it sounds like he said, I love my Christians, I'm not Christian, and I just need you to vote this one more time. This one time we'll have it fixed so good you won't have to vote anymore. This is one last time. And the fact that they stood up there, they didn't stone that man, it just shows that they even see the white power over anything else. They see this as our leader. And from the statements about Elon being good with the voting machines, and Elon himself saying that the voting machines are easy to rig. The same man who was in the federal government has every bit of our information, knows who every one of us is, everybody. for, upwards of 4 months. And to believe that there was nothing malicious, nothing nefarious being planned and plotted on the American people's behalf. Again, I got a bridge in Arizona very cheap if you believe that. So I don't see, to your point, Curtis, free and fair elections at all. I just see everything else being a smokescreen for the fact that the elections from this point on are rigged. Even maybe the congressional redistricting, which, again, we'll talk a little bit about that. And oh my goodness, make sure we're here for everybody who's watching or listening. We're here to about the 1:30 hour. Maybe we'll go to 2 tops, but we have, when I tell you what we're going to end the show with today, it is going to make your day. Stay tuned. It is going to make your day. I'm not downplaying it. I'm not overestimating it. But Curtis, yes, I think we're done with free and fair elections here. And I think we said it last week. That's where the civil unrest is already here.
Yeah.
But I think the civil war comes when the midterms turn out and they steal it. And when they steal it, I think all hell breaks loose in America.
And another editorial note, thanks to our crack staff, Meraki Media in the background.
Mickey.
The Trump ballots note that parts of Trump's earlier executive order on elections were swiftly blocked by the courts on grounds that Congress and not the president sets federal election rules. So, I mean, we know this president's going to try it. He's going to try it and to see if somebody checks him. But we'll stay tuned on this because, once again, it's just more evidence that they're trying to steal something that really should be available to all of us.
But if Congress makes that rule, he has Congress.
True, but
Congress is MAGA. The senators are MAGA.
But they haven't done it yet because why? To your point, he owns the judicial system. He has both houses of Congress, and obviously he's the president. Why isn't he just going through all the proper channels and just getting all this done the proper way? Because he knows it can't be done the proper way. Because it's not going to pass in the proper way. So he does these executive orders, which aren't law. They're not binding on anybody. They're just they have the faith of the president behind it. And some of them things can be done, with a wave of a pen. Others, there are legal protections in place. So we just have to stay tuned, stay engaged, because I think that this is all designed to get us to disengage and not pay attention to what's going on so that they can ram more things through and make more money on the back end. But I don't, anyway. Now, we were talking earlier about crime in Chicago when we were talking about an earlier story, but we have black mayors all over the country who are fighting back against this narrative that the Trump administration is trying to put forth, that these cities are crime-ridden, and he starts naming a bunch of Democratic-led cities, most of whom being led by black men or women. And those mayors are pushing back like, hold up, wait a minute. What you talking about, Willis? All those cities that he's talking about have all shown decreasing crime statistics. So nobody's saying that those cities are perfect by any means, but those mayors are making tangible efforts to reduce the crimes in each of those cities. Every city that the president named a week or so ago, talking about, well, yeah, maybe we'll go to Chicago or Los Angeles or Oakland. All towns with black mayors, even New York that he talked about. And we got another story about New York coming up in a minute too. So stay tuned for that. But all these towns that he's talking about are Democratic-led towns, and he's talking where crime is on the reduction. There's a reduction in crime that's been going on, yet he keeps talking about it. Now, if you Google what are the most crime-ridden cities in America, see what you find out. That a lot of those crime-ridden cities are in Republican states where there are Republican leaders, but you don't hear this president talking about any of those. So some of the most dangerous places in this country are not Baltimore and LA and New York. It's Anchorage, Alaska. It's, places in Arkansas and, things like that. So, it's a false narrative. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is that this president wants to keep repeating things that aren't necessarily true to support his narrative and support any actions that he may be trying to take. So people are calling it performative. I think that's exactly what it is. But yeah, any thoughts? I'm sorry, I didn't even. Sure.
No. I see. Like you said, I see. You see the usual Memphis and Baltimore's, but certainly you see Milwaukee's on here. Stockton. Stockton is in. Okay, that's in California, but Kansas City, New Mexico, San Bernardino, Minneapolis. Why don't these cities get the same attacks? Right. And again, I think we understand the reasons. And via the Black Information Network, Black mayors nationwide are pushing back against President Trump's claim that their cities are lawless and in need of federal takeover. Trump has deployed the National Guard in D.C., which we know, and threatened similar actions in cities like Oakland, Chicago, Baltimore, despite recent data showing historic drops in violent crime. Drops in violent crime. The African American Mayors Association calls it a politically motivated move rooted in race and party lines. As Savannah Mayor Van Johnson put it, it's not supported by any evidence or statistics whatsoever. Why would we think otherwise? So, and a lot of these mayors are young too. A lot of these mayors are young generation mayors that are really making strides in these cities. And
we've talked about how they've put these innovative projects into place to give the young kids other things to do to distract them, and it's working. And that's the problem. They don't want it to work. They don't really want it to work. They're trying to look for excuses. Thanks to Mickey and our staff here, just reiterating we talked about earlier, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson said there was a 30% drop in homicides and nearly a 40% decrease in shootings over the past year in Chicago, which is the first name they like to bring up when they start talking about black on black crime. What about Chicago?
Wow.
So here we go.
40% reduction. And that is historic.
Absolutely.
Like a 40% reduction in shootings and a 30% reduction in homicides is ridiculous. That is incredible.
In 1 year.
Considering, Chicago's homicide yearly was over 500.
Right.
So that means if you're cutting homicides down by 30, that means you cut 150 or so homicides out in one. But again, we're not going to hear that.
No.
So again, this goes back, Curtis, to when we talked about the unification, and we'll do it. We are going to do it. The unification of Black media. Black media needs to speak as one voice, because if you don't, the mass and corporate media is not going to talk, is not going to report the things that we know, the things that we need to know. So if you had every Black media outlet actually deploying the same information in their own way, because we're deploying what Black Information Network reported on, but we're doing it in Brother Deshaun and Curtis's way. Roland Martin would do it in Roland Martin's way.
Right.
Lene Vinay would do it in her way. But we need a unified voice so that when we deploy information, we're deploying it to 5, 10, 20 million of us at once so that we can control the narrative, because that needs to be known. People still scared to go to Chicago. If I know I got a mayor that reduces the crime, the homicide rate by 30% and shooting by 40%, maybe I need to look at what can I do to support him. Maybe Chicago is not, it's clearly on the rise.
Right.
We're not going backwards here. We're going forward. We need to know that, because I wouldn't have known that until, shout out to Mickey for pulling that data. Like, huge. Should be all over the news, but we hear more about the man who's talking about how Chicago's a problem.
Right. Yeah.
We ain't gonna get no unified people. Listen, a unified. The only thing, get black with me. When you say a unified voice comes from a unified people, that's never going to work. Aiming your goal so high that it's unrealistic just prevents you from even going towards it. It's 42 to 45 million of us. We don't need to be united. We need about 20% of us united. 20%. 10 million of us. That's it. 10, 15 million of us. If 15 million black people were united, we change everything. 10 million united, change everything.
Right.
But when we go out and we try to unite all of us in the community, now we got people here who are the danger to us. We don't want to be around them. It's black people I do not want to be around. You might not be from the cloth I'm cut from. You might be a destroyer. That's what you are. You got nothing to lose. Maybe you could be rehabilitated. We're going to set up those systems to try to get you to be rehabilitated. But it's some people that they're done. And that's the reality that I have set in my mind so that I control my disappointment level. Because I used to go out, oh, come on, everybody, we're going to get it. And that's a good point. Unified doesn't mean 100%. Exactly. So when we pursue it in that regard, now we're talking about real deal stuff. If we get most of the black, new black media on board with what we're going to do concerning building a media arm that tells your story means if y'all don't have to be on our time. That's fine. We're on our time. And you got 100,000 followers, you got 50,000 followers, you got 2 million followers, you got 80,000 followers, and then everybody's sharing this, and we got 10, 15 outlets that tell our story. That means we're going to decide today we're going to all post about Chicago's reduction in homicide rate. So by tomorrow, millions of people are going to know Chicago is on the and I'm gonna tell y'all something. Here's why it's so critical. Because we watched the election take place, sweep the country, when 4 people decided they were going to use their social media to speak the same language. Trump, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, and Elon Musk. Those 4 people spoke the same time, and they spoke to hundreds of millions of people at once. So when I sit with Tucker Carlson, I'm going to be talking to 80 million people. Joe Rogan, 200 million people. Elon, 200 million followers on Twitter. Trump, 79 million followers on Twitter. These are people who 4 of them talk to 500 million people. That's why we must have a united media front, and we will. It's coming.
That's what we're looking for.
It's coming.
Well, there is a black business that's an iconic black business that has been in the news lately. I don't know if you imbibe or not, but the Uncle Nearest brand, if you don't know, Uncle Nearest is the iconic brand of the black man who taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. And within the last few years, a woman has kind of reinvigorated the brand, purchased the property of Uncle Nearest, and reinvigorated the Tennessee whiskey brand. So, brother, tell us a little bit about the background of this story, and then we'll get into it real briefly.
This one hurts my heart because I've been following Fawn Weaver, who is the granddaughter of the original Uncle Nearest, and when I tell you she has a beautiful aura to herself. She's incredibly charismatic, a great marketer, great storyteller. When I saw this week, and if you know Uncle Nearest, if you partake in a little Uncle Nearest, let us know. It's a great whiskey. It is a great whiskey, very strong, very strong. Like it's some Tennessee joint. You could this the whiskey you drink and you be like, man, I can see this was in a saloon. This is the stuff they drink in the saloon and then go have a duel. Like to the death. You know, we duel at noon. Shot of Uncle Nearest. One of us won't be here shortly. So I followed this story, and when I saw this, it really broke my heart. So let's give you a little context. Ron T in the building. Good to see you, brother, checking in. Via the Black Info, this is MSN, via the Black Information Network. The future of Black-owned whiskey brand Uncle Nearest, valued at $1 billion, is now uncertain after a Tennessee judge placed the company under receivership. The move follows a lawsuit by Farm Credit Mid-America, which claims the brand defaulted on $108 million in loans and misused funds, including buying a $2 million Martha's Vineyard estate. Founder Fawn Weaver can still market the brand, but her future role is undecided. She blames, this is the tough part. This is why I don't think I don't think it has no merit. I think it has merit. Mm-hmm. Which means it doesn't look like it's going to end well for her. Right. She blames a former CFO, which is the chief financial officer, for overstating inventory and has rallied supporters to clear the shelves of Uncle Nearest whiskey in protest. Making more money doesn't answer this. So to clear the shelves agenda, it is working. If I was still drinking, I'm not at the time, but I might go buy a bottle or two just to, support. I love the brand. I love what she stands for. I love the message. I love what her grandfather, the fact that her grandfather, Curtis, taught Jack Daniels and, end up not getting credit for it. And then Here we come generations later. The story rises to the top and then a brand comes. But here's what troubles me about this. $108 million in loans is too much. You should not have that kind of debt with the brand you have on social media. And if you had to borrow over 100 million and you borrowed over that, because this is what you defaulted on. Mm-hmm. So that means you owed more than this. And then the second thing is the CFO. Oh, well, our chief financial officer overstated inventory and see, the problem with that is you don't understand your own numbers. Right.
But so you're the CEO though. Still.
So as the CEO, it's your job to understand when the chief financial officer gives you a financial report. It's your job to be able to look at that and analyze your own business. So if you don't understand the numbers of your own business, you're at the mercy of someone who does or doesn't.
Let's put it in terms that the audience can understand. If you have a tax preparer do your income tax for the year, and they sat there, whether they go over it or not, at the end, you write your name on there. The tax preparer signs it. But when the IRS comes looking for somebody, they don't come looking for the tax preparer. They come looking for you because your signature's on there. Your signature, you're ultimately responsible for making sure that your filing is correct. And if you can relate that analogy to a CEO of a company, it's like the CEO is like the person filing their taxes. You got to know, to your point, brother, is that you got to know when something ain't right. And when these numbers, something ain't added up quite right. So, you can trust but verify. You can trust the people that work for you, but you need to verify those numbers because otherwise you could be in a situation like this. Now, I see Fawn on social media, and she's still putting up forth the brave face and talking about she's still in control. She's still making decisions on behalf of the company rather. But the fact of the matter is that she's got to run everything by somebody else at this point until they can somehow get themselves out of this receivership. But to your point, I'm not sure it looks great at this point. But we're going to continue to follow because we love black business here. We love black businesses.
Yeah.
Love to support them. I enjoy the Uncle Nearest brand. I like their products. And maybe I'll go out and get a bottle later. Who knows?
And you know what? And the only reason I say maybe is because that doesn't fix the issue. That does not fix the issue.
Right.
If you said, hey, we need to raise $50 million to bring our loan back to good standing, then let's go clear the shelves so we can bring in that $50 million. But if we are the overstating of the inventory, like who's the CFO now? See, we have to hold businesses accountable on a high level. We are losing money. We are donating money to some companies. We're donating money to some people, as evidenced in Dr. Umar's meltdown. Now he's doing $500 dates. Women, you can have a date, just so you know, in case you didn't hear this week, you can actually get a date with Dr. Umar, any restaurant of your choosing, $500 donation. You can choose the restaurant. You ever been invited to a date?
Are you being serious right now? Because I haven't seen this. I have not heard this.
You can have a date with the Prince of Pan-Africanism. $500, a restaurant of your choosing. So and it is specific. Listen, he didn't say.
Are we punked right now? Am I being punked right now?
I wish I was. I wish I was. He ain't say, brothers. Hey, brothers, if y'all want to have a business meeting, donate to, donate 500 and let's talk business. Let's talk about how we could build systems. Y'all, hey, all my ladies,
$500 and just go talk to the brother for dinner.
And then you get to choose the restaurant. Imagine being in a date knowing that, oh, he took me out on a date. You paid for it. So of course you choose the restaurant.
But wait a second. There are restaurants where you can spend more than $500 on a meal.
Guarantee that will not be on the list of Dr. Umar dates. No, it ain't going to be no. Let's go to the Marriott Marquis in the bill 600. If the bill's 600, he gonna look at you at the end of the night and say, "All right, you got 100 on you because that this didn't qualify." So anyway, not to get off the point, but that's facts. That is absolutely facts. So I
just got to clarify. Just give me a second. I need a moment here.
I wish I was joking.
Give me some new information, and I need to process this.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. Now he's pulling a Trump. He's doing the same thing Trump's doing, right?
You
can sit down with Trump, or
he on his griffin.
It's on a different scale, but if you can have dinner with him, but he's only doing it with women. So
get back with me. He done turned into a ho. He done turned into a ho online. The Prince of Pan-Africanism is hoeing himself out for $500, ladies. And can you imagine this? Imagine being in a restaurant, Curtis, you and Kay in a restaurant, right? You look over, you see Dr. Umar with a young lady, and you paid this nigga? You actually paid him?
You paid $500 for him to take you out on $100 dinner. And
we can see your low self-esteem. Talk about coming out with low self-esteem publicly. You might just wear a shirt that says "I hate myself." Come on. So yes, I wish I
had the money because I'd offer a bunch of ugly women the chance to go sit down with them. That's what I would do. I'd pay for 100. I'd pay for 100 ugly women to go sit down with them.
Well, $500.
Melanated.
I don't think he has any shame. He's not looking
to sit down and give you $500 and let him sit down with a bunch of white women. Ooh, take some
That'd be
pictures with
interesting.
Umar.
That'd be interesting.
I'm sorry. I'm getting
Yeah, no.
I'm getting into the silliness a little early.
No,
It
this
must be that
listen.
time.
Anytime Dr. Umar his name comes up, especially lately, it's going to be attached to some foolishness. The brother's melting down in front of us. It's a public meltdown. So, but going back to, wrapping up this story on Fawn Weaver, the CEO of the Uncle Nearest company, we need to be better. And if you are going to go and play the game, if you are going to go and play any game in this world, whether it's sports, business, if you're going to go into corporate America, whatever you're going to do, you must be better. And this is why team building is huge. This is you learn these skills. You learn how to, she's a great marketer. And I think if she was the company's marketing head, that would be the role for her. But if you can't understand the financials of the business, then you should not be the CEO. As much as I love her, that's why I told y'all, even reporting this, it's just heartbreaking to me. I hope in some way that even when I look at the board, who's on the board of Uncle Nearest, it's people attached to Jack Daniels. So there's white people on the board, and she has to answer to the board. The board can fire you depending on how much voting power you have. That's how Steve Jobs got fired from his own company that he started, because the board had more voting power than he did. So she's like you said, Curtis, she has to answer to someone. And if they're smart, they keep her on as the director of marketing or the CMO, the chief marketing officer. But again, you don't get yourself in this position, if you just, stayed on top of your numbers. We got to be better, Black people.
The old adage that your parents probably taught you is that you got to be twice as good to get half as much. It applies in business as well. So she would be served well to remember that. Moving right along.
Absolutely.
Here,
yep. They'd be playing
President Trump again is in the news. I hate saying his name. I just do. But he increased his attacks on museums again, claiming that they're out of control. What's the latest on his latest attacks on Smithsonian and other museums? Break that down for us, brother.
Well, couple things, and then I'll run down what this article says via USA Today. But then we got a video. I want to play this video. We're going to play this video from you guys from World News Tonight. But it says via USA Today, President Trump is now targeting the Smithsonian Institution, claiming its museums focus too much on how bad slavery was. Okay? And not enough on American success. In that post, he said America's the hottest country in the world right now. So, but this is a history. This is a historic museum. We report, our thing is history, not what's happening today.
Right.
So 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now, we'll have stuff in here for today, 2025. But okay, Trump has launched a federal review to remove divisive or partisan content from 8 Smithsonian museums, including the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which is great. Get there before it's destroyed.
Better go now.
Go now. If you want a phenomenal trip, get to DC, get to the African American Museum of History and Culture in DC to align exhibits with his directive to promote American exceptionalism. The Smithsonian says it remains committed to factual, scholarly history. So shout out to them. But let me share with you guys this. We're gonna share with you this article here. Hang on one second. You know what? The video just from World News Tonight just said the same thing. So we don't even need it. That's the basis of it. What are your thoughts, Curtis?
Listen, this guy is trying to erase history. He's trying to rewrite history in a lot of cases. And it's unfortunate. And, you know, I know sometimes people get upset with people comparing Trump to the fascist regime in Germany and during World War II time frame. But this is the type of things that Hitler was doing. Decomposing the libraries, burning books, outlawing books, trying to rewrite history, undoing history. So these are the type of things that are done to kind of take away the foundational pillars of society. And if he can destroy those individual pillars, he overall will weaken our society. And we're seeing it happen before our eyes. So not only is he getting rich and enriching himself on one hand, he's also trying to disrupt or crumble, really, the foundations of what democracy are. And having an informed electorate, people who can read, who can go to museums and see what's happened in the past so that they don't repeat those mistakes. He's trying to just strip all that away and just be destructive, because we are in demon season. And there are those who might call him the chief demon. Shout out to South Park. If you haven't been watching South Park
that's really good
this season.
Yeah. And just I want to tap in because I meant to talk about this last week, and Get Black With Me just asked how I enjoyed the Manchurian Candidate. And I watched the one with Denzel Washington. And it was great. I took in a couple things. I wanted to watch the South Park episode. I watched that the weekend before last. Watched the South Park episode. But last weekend, before last week's show, rather, I watched the Manchurian Candidate. And here's what's so crazy about that. Who's seen it? First of all, anybody who hasn't seen it, is it? I mean, the movie's been out for years. Okay. You got to watch it. So what's interesting, here's what's interesting. And this is our individual talks that we have that we'll remember. Remember this. The Bible says that the leader who comes in the last days of the nation of the Roman Empire, like he's the destruction of the Roman Empire. The nation that is called Babylon the Great, that is destroyed. It is destroyed. He runs it, and he conspires with 10 Confederates to destroy it. It's an inside job. So when I watch the Manchurian Candidate, it's a guy who's supposed to be a leader, but he's a what's the term we were using with the Iranians? Sleeper cell. He's like he's a sleeper cell. He's a sleeper cell. He's not for that particular nation. And it's just it's a programmed time when he's supposed to activate. And that's the book of Revelation. It talks about how this beast would have multiple territories, 7 territories. And it said he would have 10 kings that don't have a nation. They don't have any land. They don't have any authority. So they're not kings of like Spain, kings of Germany, but they move through all of his territories just like kings. So when they come into town, they salute his 10 Confederates just like they salute him. So they move from place to place. So as you see them expanding, as you see them going and taking territories, and when they fly into town, if you see similar systems setting up that we see being set up here in the United States, set up in some of these other territories, this is what the playbook says. So it's not it's a coordinate, it's planned. This ain't it. This is our piggy bank. This is not our land where we retire and say, all right, y'all, this is our kingdom. No, this is the piggy bank. It says they pillage it, they make it naked, then they burn it with fire. That's the book of Revelation. So if he's that guy, that's the playbook you're going to see. So watch the Manchurian Candidate, because it really helps you to see that everybody who, it's funny, Curtis, you can find a video of President Trump from the 80s, I believe, either 80s or early 90s, whenever Gorbachev was in, the head of the Soviet Union, of the former Soviet Union. And when Gorbachev flew into town, Trump made it his mission to see if he could get to Gorbachev. Can you come and see me? Can you come past Trump Tower? And here's what's so funny. They sent a Gorbachev impersonator.
That's right.
They actually sent, because this is how big it was. So many people knew about it that he wanted Gorbachev to come and see him, that they actually sent a Gorbachev impersonator, and he came out there. Hey, Mr. Gorbachev, what the heck was you Curtis, tell me a reason why, of all people, you need to stop your business dealings in New York because the head of the former Soviet Union's in town, and I just want to see him. Like, he has to come see me.
Our co-hosts are being very, very funny right now. And Ron T. So many important things going on, and yet he's focusing in on museums, scholastic universities, and celebrities and political appointments. There's a lot more important things going on, and this president seems to be occupied on some other stuff. And this was funny. Dude even become the next Martha Stewart with aesthetic adjustments in and around the White House, shaking my head. The gold accoutrements in the Oval Office are hilarious.
It's so tacky.
It is tacky on the highest level. And this is the most accurate description I've seen. Thank you, Ron T, for that.
Clown behavior.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But now Get Black With Me puts us right back on task here, because indeed, there is. Oh, wait, what she said that
she's talking about the Manchurian Candidate. Okay. Yeah. But there was no technology they used. And crazy is, again, in the scriptures of Revelation, it says there's going to be a chip. There's going to be a technology person who works with, I ain't going to say his name, but it's two beasts. Two beasts work together. And it's Revelation 13. And the first is the political leader. The second is they call him the false prophet. So he's the miracle guy. He does the make fire come down from heaven. He makes the chip that goes in people's hands and head, and you can't. So I loved it. I absolutely loved every minute of it, because it just shows you, if you think that watch the Manchurian Candidate. That's all I'm saying. I don't like spoiling movies. I'm a late movie goer. If you ask me about a movie, chances are I haven't seen it, and it could have been out 20 years later, and I'll go watch it then. But I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
All right.
With Denzel Washington, because there's a couple of them. Watch the one with Denzel. Trump mentioned Manchurian. She said Trump mentioned Manchurian Candidate during the Biden debate. Ooh.
I don't recall that, but yeah.
Ooh, he called him the Manchurian Candidate. Talk about the narcissism. Like, that's the, hey, that's fake news. Like, when you're doing something, you always put it on. A liar always is worried about everyone else lying, because they're a liar. It's like, oh, I don't trust nobody. I know you don't, because you're a liar. Yeah. So, all right.
They need an 8-year-old to talk to Trump. I'm telling you, that's what they need, is an 8-year-old, because that's the one that can talk to him on his level. But anyway, right. I digress.
Right. Let's try. All right, we're going to try to get through the remaining stories, guys. And
we got a couple more.
10 to 15. Yeah, we're doing good with pacing. We're going thorough. I love it. We're at the 2:00 hour. If you're enjoying the show, we ask you hit the like button. We're live on the Facebook, on the Brother Deshaun Facebook page, and on the Hello Black America YouTube page. When you hit the like button, it lets the algorithm know you're enjoying the content. It matters. So, all right, we got a couple more things to discuss. And again, we are going to end the show. Look, we gonna give y'all a theme the whole weekend. This is gonna be your weekend. This is gonna be your weekend. You're gonna be playing this in your cars every morning. You're just gonna wake up with this nice chant, and I can guarantee you. Hang on, we'll get there about probably another 10 minutes. We're there. So, Curtis, what's next?
Is advised, but
right.
We'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, the African Union is starting to speak up a little bit, and I know we've all seen these maps in our maybe in elementary school, high school, those maps that are on the wall that show the flat version of the earth. So the problem is that when you look at that map, everything looks like America or North America and Africa almost look like they're the same size. Clearly, that is not the case. And so the African Union, we've been using what's called this Mercator projection, which it was kind of explained to me is that when you take the globe of the earth and then you try and make it look flat, the Mercator projection makes it look as though all these land masses are actually the same size. But Africa is much, much larger than any other continent, even Asia, which they say is the largest continent. Anyway, so that's what the kind of the background is for where this is coming from. And since 1569, this Flemish cartographer named Mercator, Gerardus Mercator, came up with this map. And we've been using this thing for years and years. But now the African Union's like, no, we want you to show the map that shows the actual size of the African continent. Just another way of diminishing the continent of Africa. Any thoughts on that? I mean, I just thought it was an interesting thing because I don't know how many people even realize how big the continent of Africa is in comparison to everywhere else in the world. There you go.
We got a little visual on the screen for you guys. And I think almost all of us, especially in this audience, I think we have seen it. We got a pretty, above average group of co-hosts and listeners. So you can see here, top left here is the United States. It wouldn't even fit. It fits. It takes up maybe about 25, maybe about 30% of the African continent. Maybe. I don't even think so. And you got India, huge country. One of the largest, can fit easily in Africa. You could probably get 4 Indias in Africa. China, you can fit easily. And Europe. In fact, on this top right, on the right, the large screen, you see all of these nations can fit into Africa and still have room. United States, China. Let's zoom in a little bit on this. United States, China, India, Eastern Europe, Italy. You can fit all of these countries. But when we look at when we look at the world map, to contrast, this is how the world map looks according to Africa. Everything looks larger than Africa.
Right.
Everything.
Look at that little spot. That little purple looks like that's Africa.
Exactly.
And it looks like it's barely bigger than South America.
Barely. Exactly. It looks like South America's, slightly older brother, like, 2 years older. So this is, like you said, Curtis, for, the article says that the African Union, they're rallying to get this corrected. But, psychologically, it's going to take a lot more than a map to change the perception. It should be part of the efforts for sure, but part of it has to be, media and the stories that are told. Thank God so many African creators on the continent with YouTube pages, expats who have left the, colonies that they were brought to and went back into Africa. Like, we get to see these stories now. We get to see, thank God for cameras. We get to see what these beaches look like. We get to see what these communities look like, what the agricultural land, the mountain views, and it's better than everywhere. Yeah. It's better than everywhere. There is, no matter where you want to live, it's probably besides the exception of, even though they're getting snow now in South Africa, you can get it in some place or in multiple places on the continent of Africa. You can get beachfront, you can get mountain views, you can get canyons, you can get plains, you can get rainforests, you can get everything. And what's crazy is it's only at about 15-20% of its potential. Yeah. That's why, as an investor of time, energy, resources, you don't go to a place where the opportunity is already it's everybody already capitalized on opportunity in a lot of places. That's where the opportunity is. That's where the next 10 years of building 15, that's where it's at. And everyone knows that except the people who come from there at large, at scale. Like, of course, there's a couple of people who know, oh, Africa's needed, but I'm talking Europe knows Africa's the prize. China knows Africa's the prize. Everybody else except the people who come from there at scale know that Africa is the prize. So, and we are the ones who can actually and will actually go in and start the businesses and the companies and build the infrastructure to actually change it, because that's the only reason it's not developed yet. The diaspora isn't there. So I love what they said. They have a petition. The petition has been signed roughly by close to 4,000 people or 5,000. No, it was about 800 signatures short of its goal of 5,000. And and that's not the African Union. That's an organization called Africa No Filter and Speak Up Africa are leading the Correct the Map petition. So yes, but definitely
keep an eye on that. We got
definitely part of
how that progresses.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah, definitely part of a grand scheme to change the way Africa is viewed, which is necessary.
All right, let's just run through these last couple stories real quickly here. More trouble in New York City. We thought that the Eric Adams was good since he had kind of reached a quid pro quo with the government, but apparently the state of New York is still active in pursuing allegations of political malfeasance, and 7 people on the and not including the mayor himself, but 7 of his staff members got hemmed up yesterday or the day before here, including his top assistant, Ingrid Lewis Martin, so former chief of staff for the mayor and longtime confidant, says. So yeah, they all got hemmed up with basically conspiracy, bribery, they called it brazen bribery and conspiracy scheme for fast-tracking city approvals in exchange for more than $75,000 and other perks. So, they were basically pushing people through the line for city approvals and getting money in exchange, which, we've seen some allegations such as that against the mayor himself with regard to the country of Turkey, I believe. So, I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire. This administration has shown itself to be a little iffy in some areas. So now
they shouldn't have been dirty.
Some of the
and they did it.
The fruit.
And they did it. They did it because it says here that she accepted money for a part in The Godfather of Harlem. You don't make that up. That's not something you make up. She did that, John. Like she and 6 others, including former state senator Jesse Hamilton and real estate developers, all pled not guilty. Adams hasn't been charged, but the scandals are piling up as he runs for re-election as an independent. Meanwhile, one former advisor was just caught handing off cash in a potato chip bag. So she's been hit. This woman, Lewis Martin, his longtime friend, has been hit with accused of trading city favors for cash. Let's not act like this happens. It's over. It's over. And I think we started saying this last year. I said, you better get your house in order. When you saw this coming, you should have started getting your house in order. Destroy all the evidence, but you still got caught red-handed. Renovations you took and even a role on Godfather of Harlem. So that's not something you make up. If I would have saw accepted bribery charges, that's different. But once somebody could see that, oh shoot, wait, so you and that's how you got. So she did it. That again, innocent till proven guilty, but come on. How'd you get the role? How'd you get the role, Lewis? Ingrid, how did you get the role? So, all right. Go ahead. What we got next? We're wrapping up.
Anyway, we're moving on. And there's not really a lot to discuss here. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has been in the news, has been actively talking against this administration. Let's keep it a buck. He's probably trying to enhance his position as a presidential candidate in 2028, should there be an election. But nonetheless, we know we've been talking about what's been going on in Texas, and Texas just went ahead and they went through with their gerrymandering, redistricting thing. This past week, we got word that they did go through with it. So now California's got to basically put up or shut up. Governor's been talking big, and now he's done the work, and he's actually signed into law, or at least the fact that they're going to have an election in November for the people of California to vote on this redistricting thing, which is expected to pass. Although the administration here is putting a lot of money in the state of California to try and keep this initiative from passing. So just so you understand, so he's not saying that California is going to automatically go into this redistricting thing. What he is saying is, and what he signed into law was that Californians would have an opportunity on a special election to vote whether or not they should redistrict in order to overcome what's being done in Texas and what's potentially going to be done in other Republican states. So, everybody's cheating now. So they're going about this. The president asked Texas to get him 5 more seats. They went ahead and acquiesced. Now California, in reaction to that, is going to redistrict their highly Democratic area to basically give more Democratic seats to offset what's going on in Texas. It's kind of
and help me understand. I think I just finally understood this, Curtis. But help me understand, the reasoning is because of those electoral votes for the president. You have to have is it right. Does this have anything to do with the electoral college and the more? Because I'm like, wait, California is all Democrat. Yeah. So the person who gets to 270 ends up winning regardless of however many other popular vote.
But
that
it
doesn't
also
matter.
has to do with the composition of the House. It has to do with the composition of the House of Representatives. So now Texas will get 5 additional seats in the House of Representatives that were formerly held by Democrats. Now that they've redistricted, those seats now will assume they will be held by Republicans. So 5 seats that were Democratic are now going to be Republican, giving them, there's only like a 3-seat difference in the House of Representatives right now. So if 1 or 2 representatives from a Republican state decide that they're not with something, like a Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia, or other places they've been kind of talking out against the president. So if a couple of them jump ship, they can't get anything done. So now they're trying to increase their win percentage, if you will, by just having more Republicans in the House of Representatives. Wow. So there is a component of the Electoral College, but it more has to do with the House and voting in the House of Representatives and maybe even senatorial seats. So
great breakdown. Yeah,
we're going to see how it plays out. The difference between what we see happening in Texas and what we see happening in California is basically that California is reacting to what they're seeing done, and they're just trying to match fire with fire.
And California is giving in California is giving the people, by having the special election, they're giving the people the opportunity to say, do you want us to do this? Do you want us to redistrict in response to what Texas is doing versus just doing it without the consent of the people?
So that's a major difference between what's going on in California and Texas. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on this story as well because, it's important. And you would expect at some point that cooler heads will prevail and they'll make some sort of law in D.C. that prohibits any of this sort of gerrymandering or redistricting, or at least put some sort of provisions in place on when it can happen. So hopefully we'll see that happen. We're done with our stories, except for we got one thing that we want to leave you with. I want to remind our co-hosts and our listeners, check out if each week we're going through these stories, if you've been moved to decide that maybe you need to be looking for some alternatives, we want you to check out the rep2025.org, jointhecall.org. We have plans in place for how we plan to exit US.
Come on.
Keep that in mind. Make sure you like those platforms to help us get that word out more extensively.
Sign the petition.
Yeah, go ahead and sign the petition and definitely stay abreast on what's going on because there's a lot happening around us and we need to be aware of that. Now, I just put that little caveat in. Now I'm gonna just turn it over to you, brother, because I know you were the one that shared this with me.
Listen, I've been tickled pink for the last 2 days. I cannot get the listen. As we see the end of what we know as the American democracy and freedom of speech, there's great evidence of people who are exercising, while they still can, their First Amendment right to say what they want to whoever, including the president. This video we're about to play happened right outside of President Trump's bedroom window. Here in Washington, D.C., two people decide that they want to serenade the president. And they had such an interesting tune. I'm going to put the words up now. As Curtis said, viewer discretion is advised. If you have children in the room, this is the part where you just ask them to step out or you put this in your headphones. Yeah. I'm putting the words on the screen so that you can sing along. All right? Here we go. Let me know when we can hear it. Can we hear that? All right. I just wanted to make sure before we cue it, I wanted to make sure that we can hear the volume.
Yes, we can.
So here we go. Not holding back. Look. Show us the list. Now watch my man. Can you Curtis, this is my man behind the camera. He said, I don't care if y'all take me to jail tonight. I'm getting this off. Look, show us the list. Talking about that Epstein list.
Show us the list. Show it.
Oh, shout
Listen,
out to, whoo.
that is a bop. That is a bop for you. I must confess, I give them full credit for that, but I am, as the comments say, looking for the go-go remix of that, because you can hear the go-go beat in the background, and we just need to play that out a little bit more and get that go-go beat going, because that's going to be in the club. Somebody's going to be playing that in the club soon.
The comments was lit up with, because the vibe is there, and you can see that the dude behind the camera, he got to be black, because he's like, you know, you can hear that old black slang. Show us the list, you pedophile mother. it's like, imagine Trump trying to lay down if he ever sleeps and just, this is outside of the White House gates.
Well, first of all,
listen, that's the beauty. That's why the First Amendment was created, because we've seen people say, you know, we've seen the melanated say, well, that's my First Amendment right. I can say whatever I want. But when I see that, it really makes me, hey, listen, this, and I think we'll look back on this and be like, man, I remember we had that First Amendment, because I guarantee you a couple years from now, you're not going to be able to do that. Unfortunately. But we're going to enjoy it while we got it.
We can play that song on our outro, because that
we will.
It's a bop. I mean, we need that in our life.
But anyway,
a little levity to end the show.
Sorry, hold on. Go ahead. I'm gonna have that. Go ahead. We're gonna take it out. That's gonna be the intro for the show. I mean the outro. You can wrap us up, Curtis.
I want to thank everybody for joining us on this week in Black America. We had some fun today. Went through some subjects that you need to be aware of. And of course, we have fun, as we always do, because we have to laugh sometimes to keep from crying. But certainly we invite you to join us again next week. This week on Black America, we'll be here at noon, running down the week's highlights. We encourage you to join us meet us at rep2025.org or jointhecall.org. Go and read those two sites and get abreast of what's going on. And hopefully you will be here to join us next week on This Week in Black America.
Every Friday we're here, 12 p.m. When you're going to the gym, you can throw that on. When you wake up, you can throw that on. When you're happy, you can throw that on. You're frustrated.
Show us the list.
You can throw that on.
Show us the list. Show us the list.
So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Every Friday we're here, and we thank you for being here. It is not a great show unless you guys join us. We are always happy to continue to, catch up on the things that happened this week. Thank you to the Meraki Media team. Thank you to Mick in the background, always coming with the facts. Get Black with me, Ron T. Shout out to Anita. Shout out to everybody. To Bonita, King Chibo checking in. Thank you to everybody. We always appreciate you guys. Look, Ron T. I need the single. Listen, you can't listen to it. Once you get to that third time, you just automatically going bop. Like you. Good Lord. All right, listen, we'll be back next week. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I won't be here next week. Uh-oh. I didn't tell the team yet. But no, I won't be here next week. I'm gonna tell. My anniversary is next week, August 29th. And so Curtis will be manning the ship, and the Meraki Media team. I will be in the studio audience though, so I will be in the comment section, but I won't be on camera. So, but I'll be here. So I appreciate it.
Hey, he give me the keys to the car with no supervision.
That's it.
Oh Lord, help us.
That's it. I'm leaving. And look, every time I'm not on, it's like Curtis comes with two AKs. Curtis be like, all right, brother Deshaun ain't here. Let me get my joint off. And I love it. So, all right, we'll be back, y'all. Always a pleasure. Happy early anniversary. Thank you, brother. 19 years. Praise the Lord. 19 years to my best friend.
Shout out to Black Love. All right.
Hey. All right, y'all. Have fun. Always a pleasure. We'll take you out with the normal outro. That's what we do. We'll see you next week. This Week in Black America.